What up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Here is my top 10 favorite movies of 2011. Because this past week, and actually this month, I'm going to be talking about the movies of the decade. Yesterday I talked about movies of 2010. Today I'm going to do 2011, and so on and so on. And then 2011 had a lot of interesting movies to offer, like, comedies, dramas, some really cool blockbusters. Yeah, 2011 was a pretty decent year for films. So with that being said, here's my 10 favorite movies of 2011. Coming in at number 10, it is My Week with Marilyn. Now, it takes place in 1956 England and stars Eddie Redmayne as Colin Clark, who ends up landing a job as a production assistant on the set of Prince and the Showgirl, which stars Marilyn Monroe. And it also showcased Marilyn Monroe having a honeymoon with her new husband, who's a playwright, Arthur Miller. But the combined pressure of work and other demands of Hollywood hangers is also on the is really driving her to exhaustion. And so Marilyn also ends up having a bit of an affair with Colin Clark as well. So there's that. I mean, this is a really great movie. Michelle Williams as Marilyn Monroe was terrific. She embodied the role of Marilyn Monroe. I actually even think Michelle Williams could have should have won her Oscar for this film. I mean, she was nominated, but I think she literally should have won that award. She was magnificent in this film. You also had Kenneth Branagh as Laurence Olivier. Emma Watson was in this. Judi Dench. Dougray Scott, Dominic Cooper, Toby Jones. The list goes on and on. Really great cast. I guess you could say this was actually the movie that really put Eddie Redmayne on the map for most people. I mean, since then, he, of course, ended up winning his award for Theory of Everything. He appeared in Fantastic Beasts, Les Miserables. I mean, it was really My Week with Marilyn that really put that guy on the map for a couple people, and it's really great. If you guys haven't seen My Week with Marilyn, go check that one out. All right, coming in at number 9, it is Young Adele. Now, it's directed by Jason Reitman and stars Charlize Theron as this woman named Mavis Gary, who's this successful writer of teen literature who ends up returning to her hometown with with a mission to relieve her glory days and still wait her now married high school sweetheart played by Patrick Wilson, and she also finds a bond with her former classmate played wonderfully by Patton Oswalt, who also has found is also difficult to move on past his high school years. He also had Elizabeth Razor was in this. The script, it was scripted by Diablo Kobe, who also did the script for Juno. Really terrific movie. I mean, I'm a bit surprised Charlize Theron did not get an Oscar nomination for this because she was terrific. Her on-screen chemistry with Patton Oswalt was great. Patrick Wilson was terrific in this movie. The movie is about adulthood, finding yourself. Part comedy, part drama. Really terrific film. Definitely go check out Young Adele if you guys haven't seen that. Coming in at number 8, it is Crazy Stupid Love. One of the most underrated gems of that year. The film stars Steve Carell as this guy named Cal Weaver who has the American dream. He has a really great job. He lives in a beautiful house. He has great children, and he also has a beautiful wife named Emily, played wonderfully by Julianne Moore. But he also, it turns out that Cal and Emily ends up having a divorce, and Cal also ends up being friends with this young guy named Jacob Palmer, played by Ryan Gosling, and Jacob becomes Cal's wingman and teaches him how to be a hit with delays. Then you also got Jacob, who ends up falling for. Okay, this might be a bit of spoilers, so forgive me. But Cal ends up having a relationship with, not Cal, Jacob, I meant to say, ends up having a relationship with Cal's daughter, played by Emma Stone. Yeah, and that's a bit, like, this movie, it literally, the title says it all. It is Crazy Stupid Love. It is a really terrific film. It's probably one of the best rom-coms that got released in this past decade. You also got some other great cast members, like you got Marissa Tomei, Kevin Bacon, Josh Groban. You also had Joey King. The Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Obviously, since then they have worked together a couple of other times before. Like, those two really had great on-screen chemistry in this film. Of course, the Dirty Dancing scene was pretty good. Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love is a really underrated film. It got released in 2011, and there are some people who know this film, but not many people have seen it. It's a really terrific romance. Like, it is very funny, it's heartfelt. Steve Carell, magnificent in this movie. Definitely go check out Crazy Stupid Love if you guys haven't seen it. Alright, coming in at number 7, it is Drive. Speaking of Ryan Gosling, he's in this list again. And Drive, 2011 was actually a pretty decent year for Ryan Gosling, by the way. Crazy Stupid Love, Drive. He also had that Eyes of March movie with George Clooney. It was a pretty cool, solid year for Gosling. Anyway, Drive is so darn awesome. This was really the movie. I knew how good Ryan Gosling was before Drive, but Drive was the movie that made me go, yeah, Ryan Gosling has, he's not just a pretty face. Ryan Gosling has acting chops. And this movie showed it. He literally plays a character without a name. You just call him Driver. And he is this Hollywood stuntman who moonlights as a getaway driver for criminals. And he's also been warming up to this pretty neighbor named Irene, played wonderfully by Karen Mulligan, and her son, who's played by this kid named Caden Leos. But Irene's husband ends up getting out of jail, and he enlists Driver's help in a $1 million heist. And the job ends up going horribly wrong, and the driver also must risk his life to protect Irene and the kid from these vengeful robbers. Sorry. You got Albert Brooks, who I'm so surprised how Albert Brooks did not get an Oscar nomination for this. It is probably one of his best performances he's ever given. Albert Brooks was great in this movie. You also had Oscar Isaac, Christina Hendricks, Ron Perlman was in this. It was directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who did a magnificent job with this movie. It has some really violent action sequence. They had a scene where Ryan Gosling is, squished, jumping on a guy's head and turning until stepping on this dude's head until he becomes a pancake. This movie is more violent than you expect, and it is so really fun. It's riveting. Definitely go check out Drive if you guys haven't seen it. And I'm still surprised we never got to see a sequel. Drive was so good. How did we still not have got a sequel yet? It's still beyond me. Alright, coming in at number 6, it is Warrior. Starring Tom Hardy, Joe Egerton, Nick Nolte, who plays their alcoholic father. And he's also a former wrestling coach who ends up training Tom Hardy's character Tommy to face off against his underdog brother Brandon, played wonderfully by Egerton. Warrior, directed by Gavin O'Connor, starring Jennifer Morrison, Frank Grillo. It is a really great MMA film. Yeah, Warrior is magnificent. Tom Hardy and Joe Egerton, their brotherly relationship was wonderful to watch. Nick Nolte ended up scoring an Oscar nomination for this, and I think he actually should have won it because he was actually that great in this movie. Yeah, this movie is magnificent. If you guys haven't seen Warrior, I mean, the movie did got released around a time where MMA wasn't as popular as it was today. I mean, now MMA is really popular. But yeah, if you guys never seen Warrior, go check Warrior out. It's really great. Number 5 goes to Dora. Now, Dora, I was going to go between either Captain America or Dora, but I'm choosing Dora. I mean, Captain America, the first Avenger was still great, but I kind of prefer Dora because I find it. I actually believe this movie is one of Marvel's underrated gems. It is really great. I mean, it gave us our introduction to Chris Hemsworth as Dora. It gave Jeremy Renner his debut as Hawkeye. Tom Hiddleston was a great Loki. Anthony Hopkins was great. You had Kat Dennings, Stellan Skarsgård, Idris Elba. Great effects. I mean, what not to love at the original Dora? It's really funny. It was the start of a franchise. Since then, we had Dark World, Thor Ragnarok. We got Thor Love and Thunder coming out in 2 more years. Thor is just hands down such an awesome film, and it also really brought Chris Hemsworth into the spotlight for most people, and it's really great. If you guys haven't seen the original Thor, definitely go check it out. All right, coming in at number 4, it is The Help. Now, The Help ended up getting an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. Octavia Spencer won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. It was a movie that really shined the light on Octavia Spencer. Viola Davis has done movies before, but this was really the movie that actually put Viola Davis on the map for lots of people. You also had Emma Stone. I mean, this movie, takes place in 1960s Mississippi, and you got Emma Stone, who plays the Southern society girl Skeeter, who returns from college with dreams of becoming a writer. And so she ends up turning her small town on its ear by choosing to interview this black woman who has spent their lives taking care of a prominent white family. And you got Abilene, played by Davis, who's the housekeeper of Skeeter's best friend here. And it's really great. I mean, come on, you're not going to want to look at Pi the same way. I mean, if you guys seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. You also had Bryce Dallas Howard, Jessica Chastain, Cicely Tyson, David Oyelowo, Anna Kemp, Sissy Spacek, directed by Tate Taylor, based on a book. Wonderful, magnificent movie. It's very heartfelt. It could be really funny when it wants to, because I'm not going to laugh. That pie scene really... I mean, this movie is not a comedy at all, but if I had to choose a scene that was really funny, it's definitely that pie scene. And you guys know what pie scene I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, if you guys haven't seen The Help, it's a really magnificent film. Coming in at number 3, it is Bridesmaids. Directed by Paul Feig. It was the movie that put Melissa McCarthy on the spotlight. You had Kristen Wiig, Wendy McClane-Covey, years before the Goldbergs, Rose Byrne, John Hamm, Ellie Kemper, way before Kimmy Schmidt broke in. Ben Falcone was in this. This movie is great. It's hilarious, very raunchy. I mean, this was actually the movie that really showcased, there has been other female-led raunchy comedies before Bridesmaids, but this was really the film that really showed that, women can be just as raunchy as men could be, and it showcased it. Bridesmaids is awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, it has some really hilarious scenes, like the bathroom scene. Melissa McCarthy ended up scoring an Oscar nomination for this. A well-deserved nomination, to be exact. Really great film. Definitely go check out Bridesmaids if you guys never seen it. Alright, coming in at number 2, it is 50-50. Now, it stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as this young guy named Adam Lerner, who ends up finding out that he has cancer, and he also enlists the help of his best friend, played by Seth Rogen. You had Angelica Houston, who plays his mother. Bryce Dallas Howard was also in this movie. Phil Baker Hall. Oh, by the way, how cool was it that Dallas Howard directed that Mandalorian episode? Just want to throw that out there. Anyway, 50-50. It's a movie about cancer. Yeah, but it's actually, you know, it has a lot of like heart, and it's not really much of a comedy, I should say, but I guess you say it's more of a dramedy. Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt both were great in this movie. It's directed by Jonathan Levine, who directs some really great stuff like Night Before, Long Shot. Really cool director. Definitely go check out 50-50. Really wonderful comedy. Or I should say dramedy. Oh, and Edna Kendrick was great in that movie too. Alright. Anyway. Alright. Now, my number one favorite movie of... Alright, 9%. Alright. Now, my number one favorite movie of 2011 goes to The Descendants. Not to be confused with the Disney movie. That's a totally different film. I'm talking about The Descendants, directed by Alexander Payne, starring George Clooney, who ends up having to take care of his kids while his wife is in a coma, and he must struggle like fatherhood and all. And George Clooney, I think he gave one of the best performances. And this is probably my favorite performance of his. George Clooney has been doing movies before this film, but man, Clooney really shined here. Alexander Payne did a great job at directing. You also had Shailene Woodley, who made her like a feature film debut here. Then since then, she of course did Fault in Our Stars, Divergent, Big Little Lies. Shailene Woodley is a really talented actress. Matthew Lillard was great. Judy Greer was terrific. You even had Beau Bridges. I think Robert Foster was in this movie too, if I'm not mistaken. Such a magnificent movie. This movie will also leave you to tears. Like the scenes where George Clooney is talking to his wife will leave you to tears. Magnificent movie. Sorry to the artist, but this movie should have won Best Picture. I'm sorry. The artist was okay, don't get me wrong, but The Descendants was a better movie. It should have won Best Picture that year, but hey, can't win more, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, My Week with Marilyn. 9, Young Adult. 8, Crazy Stupid Love. 7, Drive. 6, Warrior. 5, Dora. 4, The Help. 3, Bridesmaids. 2, 50-50. And 1, The Descendants. Now, there's loads of other movies in 2011 that I probably could have added as well. Let's see. Super 8 was terrific. Hugo. There was the aforementioned The Artist. Moneyball. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Harry Potter ended its run that year. There was also Captain America First Avenger. Green Lantern. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Adventures of Tintin. Source Code. Rango. Just Go With It. Zookeeper. Jackie Joe's kind of a guilty pleasure, man. I don't care what anyone says. Let's see. Hannah, X-Men First Class, Rise of Planet of the Apes. I gotta hurry up because my computer's about to die. But let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite movies in 2011? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Team Movies signing off.